Hi teachers, I wanted to take a moment to share one of our brand new connections that we have made through Clever. Priscilla Wiles helped out with getting this started and set up. And we are super excited about our access to Sora by Overdrive. If you're familiar with Overdrive, it's used by most public libraries as kind of the holding bank for lending eBooks. And so a couple things that you may want if you are going to explore Sora is I'm going to show you the free library that we have directly through the school that has unlimited number of borrows for students, and also allows an unlimited number of students to borrow the same book at the same time. And then I'm going to show you the connection that is coming for Cuyahoga County Public Library that will be available for students and teachers to borrow from their collection without a library card. And then also I want to show you how you as a teacher, if you have a library card that's in good standing with a public library and you know your library card number and the PIN number for that card, how you can borrow through Sora from other libraries and then use this. You can share your screen during a Google Meet or read aloud the book to students, but you can also get access to other books as well because it may not be as easy to get to the public library and get the physical copy. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go to Clever, and underneath Media Center Resources, you now see Sora by Overdrive. This link for Sora, which is soraapp.com/library/NOCSDOH. This link can also be dumped in Google Classroom. It is a link that is syncing through the students and the teachers' Google accounts. So anyone in the district who has an Olmsted can access Sora this way. Now, when you first log into Sora, it will go to the North Olmsted City School District. All of the books available in here, there's over 440 books available for students. All of these are unlimited number of simultaneous borrows. So that means if you have 30 kids in your class, 30 kids could borrow any of these books. There are a nice collection of books in here in Spanish. So if you're a Spanish teacher and you want to use those in some capacity with students, or you have students who speak Spanish and want to use that in some way, you are more than welcome to do that. Now, the popular subjects you'll see under here that I see all of the subjects that are available, and I can explore all subjects, but things like young adult fiction will be left off of our younger students' accounts, so they will not be able to see those young adult collections of books. They will see the juvenile stuff that is more appropriate for their level. So as we go into here, there are a couple of different screens that you'll want to pay attention to. On the home screen, this is where students will see their borrows. Now, there is a section that will say no assignments. That has to do with a completely different part of Sora that we're not currently using in that way. So no, there is not an option for teachers to assign books to students. So this is more for students to borrow and read for fun, read for enjoyment, or if you as a teacher want students to borrow a specific book because you want to use it maybe for a small group in your class, you can certainly do that, but students will all need to pull up that book and click borrow. Now, the borrows typically are about 3 weeks long. If you need it beyond 3 weeks, students would simply borrow it again. Again, this whole collection just for our district is unlimited number of borrows that all can be done simultaneously. They can click the Explore to explore different books that they will read. This in the center shows me books that I am currently borrowing, and I currently just borrowed Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and I can see how I can scroll through the book here. Go to different pages, I can zoom, I can do the double pane if I prefer to read a book like this, see that full screen, and slide over just like I were flipping a page. I can click back on the screen, I can search, and then I also have the ability to click those 3 lines and search through different things here. I have some reading settings available. Now, your reading settings is not going to be read aloud for everything. It is going to allow you to scale the text. You would have to borrow specifically an audiobook for the read aloud. So we're going to close out of that book. On my shelf, I will see all of the books I've currently borrowed. I do have them downloaded, so if for some reason I don't have internet access, I will still be able to access that book. I can see how far I've gone through it, and it is due in 13 days. So actually, I believe it's 2 weeks that you can borrow, and then they have to borrow again or renew. They can renew the book underneath here. It won't let them renew if it's too early. So try again in 10 days. So they don't have to go relocate it. They can return it at any point. You can get fancy, send a device. They can mark as done. They can take notes, and it will save all their notes in their Sora account. They can see other information, or you can see other information about the book here. You will be able to, in most cases, see an approximate lexile, text difficulty, and so on. And then under Me is where students can kind of see a snapshot of how they're doing with Sora. They can earn little badges for different things that they do within Sora. So the other really cool feature that will be coming, hopefully we'll have it established by the end of this week, is that easy access to our Cuyahoga County Public Library, which is the library system associated with North Olmsted. So you'll notice that I have a couple of other libraries added on here because I happen to be library card holders at those places as well. These are added for my personal choice, and if a family has a library card at another library, they can certainly add that other library as well. Now, the very first time, we're going to have you add the library, and then once you add it once, you'll never need to add it again. So you would simply click Add a Library. You would search for your library. Once you find your library, you would click that this is my library, and it will add it to your list. Now, here's the one thing that a lot of people might be misled by is even if I don't have a CleveNet card, I can still view the entire collection in CleveNet. Now, keep in mind for our students, when they get access to the public library, this collection will be sorted, so it will filter out the adult books. So that we ensure that students are safe and receiving literature that fits their age range. So the adult literature will be featured out. They'll see the juvenile literature. Now I can see everything in here that CleveNet has if I click on any text to borrow. So I'm going to click on the text. It looks the same as it does in my school section, and I click borrow. Here's where it's going to come in up to sign into your library. Now, if I am a North Olmsted, if I'm borrowing through North Olmsted, CleveNet is not part of North Olmsted. So our school is not going to be able to borrow through North Olmsted. But I will find eventually North Olmsted on this list, and students will be able to borrow directly through the school without needing a library card. Teachers will also be able to borrow directly through the school without needing a library card. Now, if you are a library card holder, I am a CleveNet library card holder, so I'm just going to click that I'm going to borrow through CleveNet. I'm going to put in my library card number, that PIN number I have for my library card, and click sign in, and then go through the process there of making that connection. So I can actually borrow from whatever libraries I hold a public library card from. This can be great if you find you're doing a read aloud for students and you want to share the book on your screen so that students can kind of follow along with you. Some students really love that option. You will be able to do that as well. Once we have that connection, I will send out another email. Students will need to add the Cuyahoga County Public Library to their Sora account the very first time, and then they will borrow through the school district. There will be no fines or no issues, because if you're not familiar with Overdrive, when your loan is done, you simply lose access to that loan. Now, any borrows that you do through a public library are not unlimited simultaneous unless if the library has set it up that way. In most cases, it is going to be at a single borrow, and then they would have to have more than one copy of the book for you to borrow, for students to borrow it as well. So just keep that in mind, that the public libraries do buy eBooks by copy, and so you're most likely not going to find unlimited number of copies of a specific text. So that may be something that you want to reserve to allowing students to explore and find what type of literature that they're really excited about, or something you want to use to share in class to teach a specific concept, or just to read aloud for enjoyment. If you have any questions about Sora, don't hesitate to reach out. As soon as we have that school district connection with the public library and students can borrow without the library card, and so can teachers and staff, I will let you know about that so that you can begin using that feature. In the meantime, feel free to borrow from any library that you want. You just need your public library card, PIN number, and your card probably needs to be in good standing. Most of the time you're locked out of Overdrive if it's not.